The skies above Chicago turned dark as a massive object descended from space. People stopped in their tracks, staring up at the enormous alien ship that loomed over the city. It was silent, casting a shadow so large it seemed to swallow entire neighborhoods. Fear spread quickly among the crowds below. Cars screeched to a halt, and people ran in all directions, trying to find safety. The military, however, moved with precision. Soldiers rushed to secure key areas, while commanders barked orders into radios. Among them was Captain Alex Carter, a calm and experienced leader who had seen his share of battles. Beside him was Lieutenant Emily Dawson, sharp-eyed and determined, ready to face whatever came next. The alien ship hovered motionless for several minutes, its surface shimmering like liquid metal. Then a voice crackled through every radio and television channel, loud and distorted. "This is the Zorathian Empire," the voice announced. "You have 24 hours to surrender your planet. Resistance will result in total destruction." The message repeated itself, leaving no room for negotiation. Panic rippled through the streets, but Alex and Emily remained focused. They knew fear wouldn't help anyone survive. As night fell, the first signs of an attack began. Bright beams of energy shot down from the alien ship, striking buildings and vehicles. Explosions lit up the skyline, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Soldiers raised their weapons, preparing to fire back, but something strange happened when the alien beams hit them. Instead of causing harm, the energy simply fizzled out upon contact with their skin. At first, no one understood what was going on. A soldier named Ryan Brooks shouted, "They're not working. Their weapons aren't doing anything." Alex ordered everyone to stay calm and observe. He watched closely as more beams struck his team, yet none of them were injured. Even civilians caught in the crossfire seemed unharmed. The aliens, clearly confused, paused their assault. For a moment, there was silence. Then the massive ship pulled back slightly, as if retreating to reassess the situation. Alex gathered his squad, which included Emily, Ryan, and Corporal Lisa Meyer, to discuss what had just happened. "What's going on, Captain?" Lisa asked, her voice filled with both awe and confusion. "How are we still alive?" "I don't know," Alex admitted, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. "But we need to figure it out, and fast. Whatever this is, it might be our only advantage." While they tried to make sense of the situation, news spread quickly across the globe. Other nations reported similar incidents where the alien weapons failed to harm humans. Scientists scrambled to understand why, but answers were scarce. Back at command headquarters, Dr. Nathan Cole, a biologist known for his work on unusual phenomena, listened intently to reports coming in. Something about this immunity felt familiar, though he couldn't quite place it yet. For now, humanity had been given a reprieve. But Alex knew better than to relax. The aliens weren't gone. They were regrouping. And when they returned, they would likely come with new strategies. As he stood under the eerie glow of the alien ship, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Whatever secrets lay behind humanity's strange immunity, one thing was certain: Earth's survival depended on uncovering them before it was too late. The next morning, the alien ship still hung ominously in the sky, its metallic surface reflecting the pale sunlight. People on Earth were torn between relief and fear. The Zorathians hadn't attacked again, but no one knew why. Captain Alex Carter stood outside a temporary command center set up near the edge of Chicago, his eyes fixed on the massive vessel above. Beside him, Lieutenant Emily Dawson flipped through reports coming in from other cities. Everywhere, the story was the same. The aliens' weapons didn't work on humans. It was both a blessing and a mystery. "What do you think they're planning?" Emily asked, breaking the silence. Her voice carried a mix of curiosity and unease. "I don't know," Alex replied, his tone steady but cautious. "But we can't count on them staying quiet forever. They'll figure something out. Aliens like these don't give up easily." Inside the command center, Dr. Nathan Cole was already hard at work. He had spent the night poring over data, trying to understand why humanity seemed immune to the Zorathians' energy weapons. Other scientists joined him, their faces tense with concentration. After hours of analysis, Nathan finally found a clue. Buried deep in historical records was evidence of a solar storm that had swept across Earth decades ago. During that event, cosmic radiation had bathed the planet, affecting everything on its surface. Though the effects were subtle, Nathan believed this exposure might have altered human DNA in ways no one had anticipated. "Captain," Nathan said, approaching Alex and Emily with a folder in hand. His expression was serious but hopeful. "I think I've figured it out. The radiation from that storm changed us, just enough to make us resistant to certain types of energy. That's why their weapons aren't working." Alex frowned, processing the information. "So what you're saying is, we got lucky?" "Not exactly," Nathan corrected. "It's not luck. It's adaptation. But there's a catch. This immunity might not protect us against everything they throw at us. If they switch tactics or use different weapons, we could still be in serious trouble." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the command center. On the monitors, footage showed movement near the alien ship. Dozens of smaller crafts detached from the mothership, descending rapidly toward the city. Alex grabbed his radio and shouted orders to his team. "Everyone, get ready. They're coming back." The squad scrambled into position, taking cover behind abandoned cars and rubble. When the alien ships landed, strange creatures emerged, not humanoid, but insect-like, with glowing eyes and sharp claws. These weren't the Zorathians themselves, but bioengineered soldiers designed for combat. They moved quickly, scanning the area with eerie precision. Alex signaled for his team to hold their fire, unsure if bullets would even work against such creatures. Private Ryan Brooks, crouched beside Lisa Meyer, whispered nervously, "What are those things? Are they alive?" "No idea," Lisa muttered, gripping her rifle tightly. "But they don't look friendly." One of the creatures spotted movement nearby and charged forward, emitting a high-pitched screech. Without hesitation, Alex fired his weapon, hitting the creature square in the chest. To everyone's surprise, it stumbled backward, collapsing to the ground. "They're not invincible," Alex yelled. "Aim for the center mass." Encouraged by this discovery, the squad opened fire, driving the creatures back. But the aliens adapted quickly, using their agility to dodge bullets and flank the humans. The battle raged on, chaotic and intense. Despite their newfound knowledge about the creature's weaknesses, Alex's team was outnumbered and struggling to hold their ground. As the fight dragged on, Emily noticed something odd. The creatures seemed to be retreating, dragging their fallen comrades back to their ships. "They're pulling out," she said, lowering her weapon cautiously. "Why would they leave now?" Alex shook his head, breathing heavily. "Maybe they're regrouping again, or maybe they're testing us, seeing how we react." Whatever the reason, the sudden withdrawal left everyone uneasy. Back at the command center, Nathan reviewed footage of the battle, looking for patterns or clues. Meanwhile, Alex addressed his team, his voice firm but reassuring. "We held them off this time, but we can't let our guard down. Next time, they'll come harder and smarter." Though the immediate threat had passed, the weight of the situation pressed heavily on everyone. Humanity had won a small victory, but the war was far from over. As Alex stared at the alien ship once more, he couldn't shake the feeling that the Zorathians were planning something bigger, something far more dangerous. The days that followed were tense and restless. The alien ship remained suspended above Chicago, a constant reminder of the looming threat. Captain Alex Carter spent most of his time strategizing with Lieutenant Emily Dawson and Dr. Nathan Cole, trying to anticipate the Zorathians' next move. Though humanity had survived 2 encounters, Alex knew they couldn't rely on luck forever. He needed answers, and fast. Dr. Cole continued his research, determined to uncover more about humanity's immunity. He worked tirelessly in a makeshift lab, surrounded by monitors displaying complex data. At one point, he called Alex and Emily over to share his latest findings. "There's something else," he said, pointing to a graph on the screen. "The radiation didn't just make us immune to their energy weapons. It also seems to interfere with their ability to scan or analyze us properly." "What does that mean?" Emily asked, tilting her head slightly as she studied the chart. "It means they don't fully understand us," Nathan explained. "Their technology is advanced, but it's based on principles that might not apply to humans anymore. That could explain why they're so cautious. They're dealing with something they can't predict." Alex nodded thoughtfully. "So we have two advantages, our immunity and our confusion. But those won't last forever. We need to use this time wisely." As they discussed their options, reports came in from other parts of the world. The Zorathians hadn't attacked anywhere else yet, but smaller scout ships had been spotted hovering over major cities. It was clear they were gathering information, learning more about Earth and its inhabitants. Alex knew they were preparing for something bigger, a full-scale invasion. "We can't wait for them to strike again," Alex said firmly. "We need to take the fight to them." Emily raised an eyebrow. "You're talking about going after their ship?" "Yes," Alex replied without hesitation. "If we can get inside and sabotage their systems, we might be able to cripple them before they launch another attack." It was a risky plan, but Emily agreed it was worth considering. Together, they assembled a small team for the mission. Ryan Brooks, Lisa Meyer, and Dr. Cole, who insisted on joining to study the aliens' technology firsthand. They would infiltrate the outskirts of the mothership under the cover of darkness, hoping to find a way inside. The night of the operation arrived, and the team gathered near the edge of the city. The alien ship loomed overhead, its surface shimmering faintly in the moonlight. Alex gave everyone a final briefing. "Stay close, stay quiet, and don't engage unless absolutely necessary. Our goal is to gather intel and look for weaknesses, not to start a fight." With that, the team set out, moving cautiously through the shadows. As they approached the ship, they noticed strange structures scattered around its base. Tall, spindly towers emitting low hums of energy. Dr. Cole examined one closely, his eyes widening with excitement. "These are power relays," he whispered. "They're feeding energy into the ship. If we could disable even one of them." "Not now," Alex interrupted softly. "We stick to the plan. Let's focus on getting inside first." The team pressed on, eventually finding an opening in the ship's hull, a narrow hatch that appeared to lead inside. Alex signaled for everyone to wait while he checked for traps or guards. When the coast seemed clear, they slipped through the hatch, entering a dimly lit corridor. The air was cold and smelled metallic, and strange symbols glowed faintly along the walls. "This place gives me the creeps," Ryan muttered under his breath. "Stay focused," Alex reminded him. "We're here for answers, not sightseeing." As they moved deeper into the ship, they encountered bizarre sights. Rooms filled with pulsating pods, glowing tanks containing unidentifiable liquids, and machines that hummed with otherworldly energy. Dr. Cole marveled at the technology, snapping photos and jotting down notes. But the team soon realized they weren't alone. Strange sounds echoed through the corridors, clicking noises and faint screeches. The bioengineered creatures they'd fought earlier were nearby. "We need to move faster," Alex urged, gripping his weapon tightly. "If they find us, we're done." The tension grew thicker with each step. They knew they were walking into danger, but there was no turning back now. Humanity's survival depended on what they could learn and accomplish inside the alien vessel. Inside the alien ship, the air grew colder with every step. The team moved carefully, their footsteps muffled by the smooth metallic floor. Captain Alex Carter led the way, his eyes scanning the dimly lit corridors for any sign of danger. Behind him, Lieutenant Emily Dawson kept watch, her rifle ready. Dr. Nathan Cole followed closely, fascinated by the strange technology surrounding them. Private Ryan Brooks and Corporal Lisa Meyer brought up the rear, both tense and alert. The deeper they went, the stranger the ship became. Walls pulsed faintly, as if alive, and glowing symbols shifted and changed like they were communicating something. In one room, they found rows of pods filled with a jelly-like substance. Inside each pod floated a grotesque creature, part insect, part machine, its body covered in wires and tubes. "These must be their soldiers," Nathan whispered, snapping photos. "They're growing them." "Growing them?" Lisa asked, her voice trembling slightly. "You mean making more?" Nathan nodded grimly. "Yes. And if we don't stop them, there will be an army of those things waiting for us." Alex signaled for everyone to keep moving. They didn't have time to dwell on what they'd seen. Their goal was clear: find the ship's core reactor and sabotage it. But first, they needed to locate it and avoid getting caught. As they turned a corner, they heard a low clicking sound. It grew louder, echoing through the corridor. Suddenly, one of the bioengineered creatures appeared, its glowing eyes locking onto them. Without hesitation, Alex fired his weapon, hitting the creature in the chest. It screeched and collapsed, but the noise had already drawn attention. More creatures began emerging from nearby rooms, their movements quick and erratic. "We need to split up," Alex shouted over the chaos. "Nathan, you and Lisa head toward the reactor. Ryan and Emily, cover our backs. I'll distract them." "No way," Emily protested. "You're not doing this alone." "There's no time to argue," Alex snapped. "Just go." Reluctantly, the group separated. Alex ran down one corridor, firing his weapon to draw the creatures away. The others sprinted in the opposite direction, following Nathan's directions to the reactor room. As they moved, Lisa glanced back at Alex, worry etched on her face. "Do you think he'll be okay?" "He has to be," Ryan replied, though his voice betrayed his own doubts. Meanwhile, Alex darted through the maze-like corridors, leading the creatures on a wild chase. He ducked into a narrow passage, hiding behind a stack of crates as the creatures rushed past. His heart pounded in his chest, but he forced himself to stay calm. Once the coast was clear, he slipped out and headed back toward the reactor room. On the other side of the ship, Nathan and Lisa reached their destination. The reactor room was massive, filled with towering machinery that hummed with energy. Glowing conduits snaked across the walls, feeding power into a central core. "This is it," Nathan said, awe in his voice. "If we can disable this, we'll cripple the entire ship." "How do we do that?" Lisa asked, looking around nervously. Nathan quickly examined the machinery. "We need to overload the system. If we reroute the energy flow, it should cause a chain reaction." Lisa nodded. "Tell me what to do." Working together, they began tampering with the controls, carefully redirecting the energy streams. Alarms blared suddenly, red lights flashing throughout the room. "They know we're here," Lisa shouted. "Keep going," Nathan urged, his hands flying over the controls. "Almost done." At the same time, Ryan and Emily fought off waves of creatures trying to reach the reactor room. Bullets flew, striking the aliens with precision, but more kept coming. "We can't hold them forever," Ryan yelled. "Just a little longer," Emily replied, firing relentlessly. Back in the reactor room, Nathan let out a triumphant shout. "Got it. Let's go." He and Lisa sprinted out just as the machinery started to spark and smoke. The ground shook violently as explosions erupted behind them. They rejoined Ryan and Emily in the corridor, all four of them racing toward the exit. Along the way, they met up with Alex, who looked relieved to see them alive. "The reactor's going critical," Nathan warned. "We need to get out now." The team pushed forward, adrenaline fueling their every step. Behind them, the ship groaned and shuddered, collapsing in on itself. They barely made it outside before a massive explosion rocked the vessel, sending shockwaves through the air. The Zorethian ship began to break apart, its once imposing presence reduced to a fiery wreck. As the team caught their breath, watching the remains of the ship fall from the sky, Alex allowed himself a small smile. "We did it," he said quietly. "For now, we did it." But even as they celebrated their victory, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that the Zorethians weren't gone for good. Somewhere out there, among the stars, they were regrouping and planning their next move. The destruction of the Zorethian ship brought a wave of relief across Earth, but it was short-lived. While the team celebrated their hard-fought victory, tensions were brewing back at headquarters. General Harold Briggs, a high-ranking military officer known for his cautious approach, had grown increasingly uneasy about humanity's chances against the aliens. He believed that fighting the Zorethians was futile and that surrender was the only way to ensure survival. Briggs wasn't alone in his thinking. Some politicians and even a few military leaders agreed with him, arguing that humanity couldn't win a war against such an advanced enemy. Late one night, Briggs secretly contacted the Zorethians using encrypted communications. He offered them a deal. Earth would surrender peacefully if the aliens promised not to harm its population. In return, humanity would provide resources and knowledge to help the Zorethians repair their damaged fleet. Unbeknownst to Briggs, Lieutenant Emily Dawson had grown suspicious of his behavior. She noticed how he avoided meetings, made private calls, and seemed overly eager to negotiate with the enemy. Determined to uncover the truth, Emily began digging into his activities. With the help of Corporal Lisa Meyer, she hacked into restricted files and traced Briggs' communications. What they found shocked them. Recordings of Briggs speaking directly with the Zorethians, offering Earth's unconditional surrender. Emily knew she had to act quickly. She confronted Briggs in his office, her voice steady but filled with anger. "What do you think you're doing? You're betraying everyone on this planet." Briggs didn't deny it. Instead, he leaned back in his chair, his expression calm but cold. "I'm saving lives, Lieutenant. If we keep fighting, billions will die. Is that what you want?" "No," Emily shot back. "But giving up isn't the answer either. We've already proven we can fight back. Humanity has a chance, if we stick together." Briggs shook his head. "You're wrong. The Zorethians are too powerful. Fighting them is suicide. My way ensures survival." Emily refused to back down. "Your way makes us slaves. We won't let you hand over our world without a fight." Realizing she wouldn't change his mind, Emily left the office and immediately shared what she'd discovered with Captain Alex Carter. Alex listened intently, his jaw tightening with every word. When Emily finished, he slammed his fist on the table. "We can't let him get away with this." Together, they devised a plan to expose Briggs' betrayal. They gathered evidence and presented it to several trusted officers within the military command. At first, some were hesitant to believe such a high-ranking official could commit treason, but the proof was undeniable. One by one, key figures sided with Alex and Emily, vowing to stop Briggs before he could finalize his deal with the Zorethians. The situation came to a head during an emergency meeting of top military and government leaders. Briggs confidently stepped forward, ready to announce Earth's surrender. But before he could speak, Alex stood up, holding up the incriminating files. "General Briggs has been negotiating with the enemy behind our backs," he declared, his voice ringing out clearly. "He's willing to give up our planet and our freedom for false promises of peace." The room erupted into chaos. Leaders shouted questions, while others demanded answers from Briggs. Cornered and exposed, Briggs tried to defend himself, but his arguments fell flat. The majority of the council turned against him, stripping him of his rank and placing him under arrest. With Briggs removed, the focus shifted back to defending Earth. Alex addressed the group, his tone firm but hopeful. "This betrayal proves we can't afford to split or weaken ourselves. Humanity's strength lies in unity. If we stand together, we can protect our world." As the meeting ended, Emily approached Alex, her expression serious. "Do you think this is over? The Zorathians won't stop coming just because we stopped brakes." Alex nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "You're right. This isn't the end. It's just the beginning. But as long as we stay united, we'll find a way to survive." Though the immediate threat of betrayal had been neutralized, the shadow of the Zorathians still loomed large. Somewhere beyond the stars, they were watching and waiting. With General Briggs out of the picture, humanity refocused its efforts on preparing for the Zorathians' inevitable return. Captain Alex Carter and Lieutenant Emily Dawson worked tirelessly to strengthen Earth's defenses, knowing that time was their most precious resource. The team also began analyzing fragments of alien technology recovered from the destroyed ship, hoping to uncover weaknesses they could exploit. Dr. Nathan Cole played a key role in this effort. Back in his lab, he pored over pieces of alien machinery, running tests and simulations. One day, while examining a shard of the Zorathians' energy weapons, he made a breakthrough. "Their technology is powerful, but it's not invincible," he explained to Alex and Emily during a briefing. "The materials they use are highly advanced, but they're vulnerable to heat and pressure. If we can hit them with enough force or expose them to extreme temperatures, we might be able to disable their equipment." Alex nodded thoughtfully. "So, explosives or fire could work." "Exactly," Nathan replied. "But we'll need precision. Random attacks won't cut it. We'll have to target specific parts of their ships or weapon systems." Armed with this new knowledge, Alex devised a bold plan. He proposed launching a counterattack against the remaining Zorathian forces still orbiting Earth. Using modified missiles equipped with high-explosive warheads, they would aim for the aliens' smaller scout ships. These vessels were responsible for gathering intelligence and coordinating attacks, making them critical to the Zorathians' operations. Taking them out would disrupt the enemy's ability to strike back effectively. The mission required careful planning and coordination. Alex assembled a team of skilled pilots, including Ryan Brooks, who had proven himself capable under pressure. Together, they prepared a squadron of fighter jets fitted with the experimental weapons designed by Dr. Cole. Emily oversaw logistics, ensuring every detail was accounted for. "We only get one shot at this," she reminded everyone. "Make it count." On the day of the operation, the skies above Chicago buzzed with activity. The team launched their jets, flying in formation toward the alien fleet. From the ground, Alex monitored their progress, communicating with the pilots via radio. As they approached the first scout ship, Ryan's voice crackled through the headset. "Target locked. Ready to engage." "Go ahead," Alex responded. "And good luck." Ryan fired the missile, watching as it streaked toward the alien vessel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a brilliant explosion lit up the sky, sending debris spiraling into space. Cheers erupted among the team as they moved on to the next target. Over the next hour, they systematically took out several more scout ships, each successful hit boosting their confidence. However, the Zorathians weren't about to let humanity gain the upper hand without a fight. Larger ships descended from orbit, unleashing waves of energy beams and deploying bioengineered creatures. The battle intensified, with both sides exchanging blows. Despite the chaos, Alex's team held their ground, using their newfound understanding of the aliens' vulnerabilities to great effect. Back at command, Emily coordinated reinforcements, sending additional squads to assist the pilots. Meanwhile, Nathan analyzed real-time data, offering suggestions to improve their tactics. "Focus on the engines," he urged. "If you can disable those, the ships will be grounded." Following his advice, the team adjusted their strategy, targeting the propulsion systems of the larger vessels. One by one, the alien ships faltered, crashing to the ground like fallen giants. By the time the dust settled, the Zorathians had withdrawn once again, retreating further into space. Though victorious, Alex knew this wasn't the end. As he watched the last of the alien ships disappear beyond the atmosphere, he turned to Emily. "They're regrouping. Next time, they'll come stronger. Emily nodded, her expression resolute. Then we'll be ready. For now, humanity had bought itself some breathing room. But the war was far from over. Somewhere out there, the Zorathians were planning their next move. And so was Earth. The victory against the Zorathian scout ships brought a brief moment of hope, but it came at a heavy cost. Many pilots had been lost in the battle, and the streets of Chicago were lined with memorials for those who had given their lives. Among the fallen was Private Ryan Brooks, whose bravery during the final assault had inspired everyone around him. He had stayed behind to draw enemy fire, allowing his teammates to escape before his jet was overwhelmed by alien forces. His sacrifice weighed heavily on Captain Alex Carter and Lieutenant Emily Dawson, who struggled to keep their emotions in check as they honored his memory. Despite the losses, humanity's counterattack had succeeded in driving the Zorathians further into retreat. The remaining alien ships now hovered at the edge of Earth's atmosphere, silent and unmoving. It was clear they were regrouping, analyzing their failures, and planning their next move. Back at command headquarters, Alex gathered his team to discuss what came next. "We've proven we can fight them," he said, addressing the group. "But this isn't just about winning battles. It's about ending the war." Dr. Nathan Cole nodded in agreement. "Their technology is advanced, but not perfect. If we can find a way to target their main fleet, we might be able to force them to leave for good." Emily leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "But how do we even reach their mothership? It's too far out, and too well protected." Alex hesitated before speaking, his voice steady but firm. "We go after it together. Not just pilots or soldiers, but all of us. We'll need every advantage we can get." The plan was risky, almost suicidal. A small team would board a specially modified aircraft capable of reaching the Zorathian mothership. Once inside, they would plant explosives near the ship's core reactor, crippling its ability to function. Alex insisted on leading the mission himself, knowing the dangers involved. "If something goes wrong, I want to make sure the rest of you have a chance to survive," he told Emily when she argued against his decision. In the days that followed, the team prepared for their most dangerous mission yet. They tested the aircraft, rehearsed their strategy, and packed enough explosives to ensure the mothership wouldn't recover. As they worked, tension hung thick in the air. Everyone knew the odds were stacked against them, but no one voiced their fears aloud. On the night of the operation, the team gathered for one last briefing. Alex looked each member in the eye, his expression grim but determined. "This is it," he said. "No matter what happens, remember why we're doing this. For Earth, for our families, and for everyone counting on us." With that, the team boarded the aircraft and launched into the sky. The journey felt endless, the vastness of space stretching endlessly around them. When they finally reached the mothership, they docked carefully, avoiding detection. Inside, the corridors were eerily quiet, the hum of alien machinery filling the silence. The team moved quickly, planting charges along the walls as they made their way toward the reactor room. As they neared their destination, alarms blared suddenly, red lights flashing throughout the ship. "They know we're here," Lisa shouted, clutching her rifle tightly. "Keep moving," Alex ordered, pushing forward despite the growing danger. When they reached the reactor room, Dr. Cole worked frantically to set the explosives. "Almost done," he yelled over the noise. But as he finished, the team realized they were surrounded. Bioengineered creatures blocked their path, screeching and lunging toward them. Ryan stepped forward, holding up his weapon. "Go, I'll hold them off." "No," Alex protested, but Ryan shook his head firmly. "There's no other way. Just promise me you'll finish this." Tears filled Alex's eyes, but he nodded. "We'll make you proud." As the others fled, Ryan stood his ground, firing until the last possible moment. The explosion rocked the ship, signaling their success, but also sealing Ryan's fate. Back on Earth, the team watched as the mothership broke apart, falling like a dying star. Though victorious, their hearts ached with loss. The war was over, but the scars would remain forever. The destruction of the Zorathian mothership marked the end of the war, but it also left humanity with a deep sense of loss. Captain Alex Carter stood on a hill overlooking Chicago, watching as people began to rebuild their shattered city. Smoke still rose from some areas, and the scars of battle were visible everywhere. Yet, amidst the rubble, there was hope. People worked together, clearing debris, repairing homes, and comforting one another. It was a reminder that even after the darkest times, life could find a way to move forward. Back at headquarters, Lieutenant Emily Dawson addressed the remaining members of their team. Her voice was steady but carried a weight of emotion. "We did what we had to do," she said, "but none of this would have been possible without sacrifice. Ryan gave his life so we could finish the mission. We owe it to him and to everyone who fought, to honor their memory by building a better future." Dr. Nathan Cole nodded in agreement. "This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about learning from what happened. The Zorathians underestimated us because they didn't understand us. We need to make sure no one else makes that mistake again." As days turned into weeks, Earth began to recover. Governments around the world came together to form a united defense system, ensuring humanity would never be caught off guard again. Scientists studied fragments of alien technology left behind, using the knowledge to improve Earth's own advancements. Dr. Cole led efforts to adapt the aliens' energy systems for peaceful purposes, hoping to turn a weapon of destruction into something that could benefit humanity. For Alex, the aftermath of the war was bittersweet. He attended memorials for fallen soldiers, listening as family shared stories of loved ones lost. At Ryan's memorial, he stood silently, staring at the plaque bearing his name. "You saved us all," Alex whispered, his voice barely audible. "I'll never forget that." Despite the pain, Alex found solace in knowing that humanity had proven its strength, not just through weapons or strategy, but through unity and resilience. People from different nations, backgrounds, and walks of life had come together to protect their home. That spirit of cooperation gave him hope for the future. One evening, Alex joined Emily and Lisa on a rooftop overlooking the city. The sky was clear, filled with stars that seemed brighter than ever before. "Do you think they'll come back?" Lisa asked quietly, breaking the silence. Alex sighed, leaning against the railing. "Maybe. But if they do, we'll be ready. And we'll face them together, just like we did this time." Emily smiled faintly. "The Zorathians thought they could take our planet without a fight. They didn't count on us being willing to give everything to protect it." As they stood there, gazing at the stars, Alex couldn't help but wonder what other mysteries lay beyond Earth's atmosphere. Humanity had taken its first steps into the vast unknown, not as conquerors, but as survivors. The encounter with the Zorathians had changed them forever, forcing them to grow stronger, smarter, and more united. But Alex knew the universe was vast, full of wonders and dangers they couldn't yet imagine. For now, though, Earth was safe, and as long as humanity remained united, it would stay that way. The sun rose over Chicago, casting golden light across the rebuilding city. People moved with purpose, carrying tools, supplies, and dreams of a brighter tomorrow. Somewhere among the stars, fragments of alien technology waited to be discovered, hinting at secrets yet untold. But for now, humanity had earned a moment of peace, a chance to heal, to dream, and to prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. As Alex walked away from the rooftop, he felt a renewed sense of determination. The war may have ended, but humanity's journey was far from over. The stars still called, promising adventure, danger, and discovery. And when the time came, Alex knew humanity would answer, with courage, unity, and an unshakable will to survive.